pretty. Come along. Hey garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, and I am picking up where I left off in the last video. It is a seed sowing frenzy for me today. I am getting a lot of 4 to 6 week and even some 6 to 8 week things sown today. I am 6 weeks out, almost 5 weeks out, a couple days before 5 weeks out until my last frost date. I am gardening in Zone 5B in the Chicago suburbs, and let me get you up to date. So far, I have sown another tray like this of snapdragons, and that's now on the heat mat. I also transferred the rest of my Lisianthus up into these 2 trays. So now Lisianthus is all potted up to reach its full potential. Quick FYI, if you haven't seen my journey, I found that potting them up from the smallest soil block is really making a difference in their growth. One day I would like to be able to grow them in that small soil block from sowing all the way to putting into the garden, but I'm not there yet. So now I am getting ready to do my next big batch. So I've got soil blocks here, and then I've got another 2 here, and some 25, so is it 25? 24. 24 cell trays here. So by the end of today, I should have over 500 seedlings sown, if I'm doing my math right. Yes, 408 plus the 50 here. Okay, 458, 458 seedlings. Close enough. I'll take that progress. Varieties that I'm starting here are, let's do the soil block ones first. Sweet black cherry dianthus. Loved this flower last year. It was my favorite surprise flower, as in I didn't know I was gonna love it as much as I did. The smell is incredible. The texture is a velvety red. It's very hardy. Oh, loved it. Then more Fama white seeds. I did some of this in the last video as well, but it's my favorite scabiosa and I'd like even more of them, so I'm gonna do some of those. The Fama whites have finally come on and I'm obsessed. I just love the structure of these. Sahara rudbeckia, I sowed these probably 2 to 3 weeks ago. I'm gonna sow more of them. Sahara mixed rudbeckia that I've been raving about, and here's some more color variety from that as well. Ceranth or honeywort, I am sowing some of these. It's a great filler, beautiful, almost an aqua color of, well, maybe not aqua, but a beautiful tealish color of leaves with a pretty dainty little purple flower. Great greenery flower. Then in my other 2 soil blocks, which I've, oh my gosh, slow down, get it together. I just crumbled some of them. Oh, shoot. We're gonna make it work. As I was saying, these 2. We have a perennial, which is Thriller, Lady's Mantle. This is great for my soil because my soil is very wet, so I'd like to add this into my landscape. And this is usually started 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost and takes 4 to 5 weeks for germination, so it's going to take much longer. And this one is actually a tender perennial grown as an annual. It is the Hummingbird Coral Nymph Salvia. Never seen this color, looks stunning, and it is 14 to 21 days, so not terribly long, but long enough. So I'm just separating these to the side a little bit. Next, then we have our bigger cell trays, and this is the Grow Ease Seed Starter Success Kit that I'm not using the middle soaking wet pad with. I'm just using the tray to bottom water them because I ruined all of the pads. They're old and I didn't order new ones, so we're rolling with it. These I'm using for bigger seedlings that need more space, that wouldn't do as well in a small soil block. Yes, I do have a big soil blocker, but it takes up much more space and I don't have enough trays. So I'm using these for these bigger seedlings, which are Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus. Love it. If you haven't grown it, you need to grow it. It's fantastic. It is a weeper, which means after you cut it, it wilts. But if you boil the stems or use a certain solution, you can get them pretty upright and sturdy again. Coral Fountain Amaranth, Hot Biscuits Amaranth, and then 2 new ones, which are from the Gardener's Workshop that I've never grown before. Love in a Puff. I've heard really good things. I'm thinking of growing this up around a trellis / arbor. And it's also very dainty and whimsical in bouquets, so I would like to add some of that. And then a really unique one, ornamental eggplant, pumpkin on a stick, which I hear is very thorny. Thank you for all the warnings, but I'm assuming this needs a little more room too. So those are going to go in the bigger cell trays. Can you tell I'm on it's not even autopilot, it's like super pilot today. Getting things done. Seed sowing frenzy, my friends. So I am actually gonna go through and sow all of these and then come back and meet you at the end. And ta-da! We're all done here. Everything is sown. What a seed sowing frenzy of a day. It's been about 4 hours and I think I'm done for the day. So here I did everything I told you I was going to do, except I added a few because I had space. I realized as I was doing this, a lot of the seed I'm sowing is from last year's seed, because there weren't as many seeds in the packet, or I could tell it was previously open. So that made room for Linaria, which I know nothing about. Looks like this. I thought it was pretty on the package, so I bought it. If you know anything about this, comment in the section below so that I can have a little bit of a heads up of what's coming with this. I also did some more Black Knight Scabiosa because I had some of those left over from this morning. And another new one for me, Lemon Talinum. Oh, let's try that again. Lemon Talinum, which has almost like an ornamental looking foliage, stickish type of look. So I don't really know what to expect with this either. If you've grown it, comment below, but I'm glad I'm going to at least try it. So with a lot of these seeds that are from last year, it's possible the germination rate will be less than definitely if it was sown the first year that I got it. You usually can keep seeds for a few years, but each year that passes, the germination rate goes down. So it's a little bit of a gamble, but at the same time, I've bought these seeds, so I'm happy to actually plant them and use them and hopefully grow them all the way to a bloom. One thing I really try and pay attention to is if the seed needs to be covered with soil or if light aids germination. If it aids germination, then I do a more light layer of vermiculite. If it needs to be covered, then I try and keep it covered. So just be sure that you're checking that. You can see the difference on this tray here. There's about 3 of them that are much heavier, darker layer than the others. That's because they prefer darkness with a darker layer, or they prefer light aiding germination with a lighter layer. These guys went well here also. Again, a lot of it was last year's seed. We'll see what we get. Looking forward to the pumpkin on a stick, and I'll watch out for the thorns. Thank you for the warning. But I do want some amaranth. It grows very big, and I was pretty heavy-handed in sowing it, so I'll probably be thinning a lot of that out. But it is a nice drapery foliage in a bouquet. If I'm being honest, I like the red spike amaranth the best, actually, over hot biscuits, which is more of a neutral, but I don't have any of that on hand, and I have a lot of hot biscuits left. Botanical interest really gives you a lot of seeds, like a lot of seeds. But to each their own, to each their own. So now we're to the point where these will be covered. I'll use humidity domes for these. These I'll use plastic wrap, and then they will go on my germination station on a heat mat downstairs under the lights in the basement. Let me do that, and then I'll show you my germination station before we wrap up. Before we head downstairs, I also just wanted to mention this is the time when I'm kind of making the switch from sowing a lot of cold hardy annuals to starting to sow a lot of warm season annuals. So I think the Sahara Rudbeckia, Scabiosa, Honeywort, those are all things that are cold tolerant, if I remember right, to the best of my knowledge. And that's pretty much the last to do with sowing cold hardy annuals, because a lot of them that I've already started to grow, I will be hardening off soon and take them out to the greenhouse to grow on after I finally get the ranunculus and anemones moved out of there and have room for it. But you'll start to see a difference on my grow shelves now as I'm starting warm season annuals like cosmos and zinnias, which I love, Amaranth is a warm season annual. All of these are getting started now because they will go out into the garden after the last frost date. Some things that are cold hardy I can definitely move out before, and if my weather cooperates, I'm hoping to do that with a lot of things that I have started to establish. So just a little FYI, now is time that I'm making the switch to sowing many more warm season annuals, and the cold hardy annuals are pretty much done. In fact, I'm gonna say they're done. I can't think of anything else that I'm growing that's cold hardy. Mahogany Splendor Hibiscus, that's another one that's a warm one. And we haven't even talked about dahlias yet. Oh my gosh, my queens. Dahlias are one of my favorite cut flowers, and I haven't even started to wake them up yet. It's just been busy or I was out sick, but now is the time that you could start to wake them up if you wanted, or take cuttings. I personally do not take cuttings at this point. I just know it would be one extra thing that I don't have time for right now, but FYI, dahlia video is gonna come because I do wanna wake them up and get a head start. And the time to do that would be now. So stay tuned, one thing at a time, everybody, one thing at a time. I really hope the dahlias survived though. I can tell you that much. Really hope they survived. Let's go down and look at my germination station. Okay, here we are, germination station. Here in the basement, there's a heat mat down there, and everything I've sown today is down here. The temperature in here right now is 71.8, so with the heat mat, it's a bit warmer than that for them. Now we just wait, and when about half of them in their designated tray start to germinate, I will take off the plastic or the humidity dome and remove them from the heat mat. So that's gonna be it for this video, everybody. Comment below and tell me where you're located, what zone, and what you're starting now, if you've started into warm season annuals yet or not. And be sure to subscribe to my channel to follow along with all things garden. Man, it feels good to be done with that. I wanted today to be a day when I got a lot sown, a lot out of the way, got more on my grow shelves, and I feel caught up. Not that I was really behind, but I feel accomplished. Lots of babies are gonna start, what's the word? I wanna say hatching, but that's chickens. Well, germinating, I guess. A lot of babies are gonna be germinating and coming to life soon. And that's a wrap, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Happy planting. Bye.